Sheila E. from Tennessee. This is just a regular German chocolate cake. I put extra eggs in it, extra oil, and put a little bit of milk instead of water on the directions. And I've got 2 of these coconut pecan, and that's what we're going to do on top of it. So it's still just barely warm, but not really warm. So let me stir this up. And I put some chocolate chunks in this too, just so to make it my own. It's a number 13 pan. And then I'm just going to, this is just something I can doctor up when you do your, like if you're going to use cake mix, put extra egg and milk instead of water and extra oil. And I used a little bit more than 1 box. I used about a box and not hardly a box and a half, because I wanted it to be big. I didn't want it to be flat down in the pan. I'm fixing to get ready to make a chocolate cheesecake with coffee in it, and it has a chocolate ganache on top. So when I get that made and in the oven, it will have to go in the refrigerator overnight, and then that's when tomorrow when I'll put my ganache on it. So I'll show you the beginnings of it, and then I'll have to show you the ending of it tomorrow. I'll just have to put the 2 pieces together. So don't this look good? And it's something different. We've not had a German chocolate cake, and I didn't have time to make it from scratch, so I did use cake mix. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you can put more eggs, put an extra egg, put a little bit of extra oil, and then use milk instead of water. And it makes it taste like it's homemade. Nobody will know unless you tell them. And then I did add under a half of a bag of the big chocolate chunks to the cake mix. And of course this has coconut, chocolate chips. And I seem like I stay in a rush anymore, so I do some things from scratch, and I do some things semi-scratch, and then I do some just for shortcuts for ladies who have babies or work. This is a really good one right here. And if you wanted to, you could sprinkle some chocolate chips on top. But I think this is going to be just perfect, just like it is. We're going to put some little, how's that? Does that not look good? I'm going to taste of this spoonful here that I've got left. It's really good. It's got pecans and chocolate chips, and it's very rich. So that'll be 1 cake. And then I just done a chess cake, and I would think that everybody knows how to make a chess cake. Let me put this one over there on my table, and I'll show you my chess cake. And I do the same thing with it. When it says to use cake mix, I put an extra egg. Be right back. Okay, I put an extra egg, and then I put extra oil, and then I use milk. Or if it says to use water. But this is my chess cake right here. I've got a napkin on it to absorb any. I want it to stay warm. See, isn't that pretty? Is that pretty? So I like for it to stay warm and just stay soft. So I put a napkin to absorb the moisture, and I put the lid over the pan. So as you can see, we've got a pecan pie. I made a chocolate Oreo pie. I've got this chess cake. I've got this German chocolate cake. We've got all kinds of cookies and candy ready. And then I'm going to try to do some pumpkin truffles. They're made out of the blonde Oreos, and a pumpkin pie filling or pumpkin puree. And then I've got all kinds of sweets over here. Turtles, Hello Dolly bars, chocolate covered raisins, chocolate covered peanuts. So what I'm going to do is show you what this consists of on my, I've got my turkey laid out too, and my ham. On this right here, you have to have a springform pan, and I've got my big one. Let me raise you up here a little bit. I've got my big springform pan. Try to get this up. Okay. Got my big one, and I set it down in this, and then I put it in a pan, a water bath. So I've got that ready, and I've got to put parchment paper square rounds in my pan. And I'll show you those. You can order theirs off of Amazon. It makes it a lot easier than trying to cut it out. So I've got my big stainless steel bowl here. Okay, everything has to be like room temperature. So that's the reason I'm letting it set out a while. This is a process, let me tell you. Making a real cheesecake from scratch is not a quick do. Now, a lot of people don't. They like the ones that you can do, and I do too. I like the ones, a no-bake cheesecake. So here's what I've got out so far. I've got my bowl ready. My whipping cream, all of it has to be a little room temperature. I don't have enough sour cream in this one, but we're using Food Club today. We're using Food Club sour cream. It has to have sour cream. I'll tell you what it has to have. For a chocolate cheesecake, it has 24 Oreos crushed up. Now, I had an extra crust, Oreo crust, and some Oreos crushed up that I didn't use, but I have more Oreos if I need them. So I'm going to use this for my bottom layer. Mix a little bit of butter, warm butter with that, and that'll work perfect. So you need at least 24 Oreo cookies crushed, 5 tablespoons of butter mixed together and then push them down in a springform pan. You want to put that parchment paper in the bottom of that springform pan. I always spray just a tiny little bit of Baker's Joy, just a tiny little bit on the bottom to hold that paper in there. And so let me get those papers. Hold on just one second. All right, I'm back. Now these right here you can order off of Amazon, and they're different sizes of the, I wanted to show you the little papers that's already cut out. They've got small ones. This is what it looks like. It's just, that's the protector. That's the silicone protector. So we don't need to show you that. But anyway, they've got the small size. And I think it's going to take the big size right here for this. Yeah, it's going to take this size right here. Yeah. So what I do is just put just a tiny, tiny little bit. Just to say one little tiny, tiny little bit. Because it'll burn and you'll smell it. And it'll smell like paper burning. So you put that in there and you put your paper in there and get your springform pan ready. Now, on my sides, I do put some, I'll take this back out when I get ready to put my cheesecake in here. But I always spray the sides just a little bit with Baker's Joy. And then I just rub it in, and then I put my parchment paper in the bottom. So we have that ready. So it's a process, let me tell you, it's a process. This chocolate cheesecake, it's a New York style chocolate cheesecake. It's a thick, creamy cheesecake. Okay, it's not like a no-bake. It's different, it's got a different texture. So anyway, I've got my butter out. I've got my sour cream out. I've got my whipping cream out. And you know I use egg beaters when I go to bake. So I've got my egg beaters out. This is Food Club also. So I'm using a lot of Food Club today. I'm using Food Club cream cheese. It takes, for this particular cheesecake, it takes 4 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. And we're using Food Club on that too. So I've got my cream cheese laid out, egg beater, sour cream, whipping cream, and I've got my sugar over here. It takes, let's see, 5 tablespoons of butter. Mix the cookie crumbs and the butter. Put them in the springform pan. Then you want to take 1/4 cup of coffee and a cup of bittersweet chocolate chips, or 3/4 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Okay, so I don't have the bittersweet. I've got just a regular sweet chocolate chips, so I'm going to use 3/4 cups of sweet chocolate chips. And then you pour 1/4 cup of coffee in that and stir that and let that set to the side, because that's going to go into your cheesecake once you get it mixed up. It's just a process. So then you take your 4 blocks of cream cheese. You'll take your 4 blocks of cream cheese in here. Once you get your semi-sweet or your sweet chocolate chips and your hot coffee stirred and set to the side, it has to be stirred up and mixed, and it'll be a little bit runny. So you take your 4 things of cream cheese and put them in here, and a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Then you want to take 4 eggs, or you will take 1.5 cups of egg beaters and put in that. Once you get it, this will go in last. So you'll put your sugar, your cream cheese, your vanilla, a pinch of salt. And then what you'll want to do is put 3 tablespoons of flour, and then you'll put your 4 eggs in after all that's mixed up. It's just a process. And then you'll put your vanilla. And then once you get all this done, get it mixed up really good, you will take your ganache that's sitting there with the coffee, and you'll put in that. And I'll have to use my Miss Daisy, Big Daisy right here. I'll have to use this right here, my big mixer, because it's going to be too hard to do with a hand mixer. So I'll have to use my Miss Daisy KitchenAid is what I use. So we've got all of our stuff prepared. So I'm just letting it come to room temperature and doing a few other things. And this will be, it will bake after, once you get it in there. Let me see. Making sure the crushed whipping cream, 2 cups. You have to use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream in here too. Didn't have that in the recipe. So it's 24 ounces of cream cheese, room temperature, a pinch of salt, a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of sour cream, tablespoon vanilla, 4 eggs, or 1.5 cups of egg beaters, room temperature, 3 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of heavy cream. Then that's the heavy whipping cream. Cream, 1/4 powdered sugar, and 3 tablespoons of cocoa or vanilla if you don't have the chocolate chips. Alright, so we'll get on to this and we'll start making this, and I'll let you watch. I've got a little note that says over, and it says place the chips in a bowl. Pour your hot coffee over them. Mix them a little bit in the microwave, 20 seconds at a time until melted, then set aside. Add cream cheese and all other ingredients except for the eggs, and then one at a time. Then the chocolate mixture and flour. Mix flour into pan. Bake at 325 for 20 minutes, and then 300 for 30 minutes, or until cake edges are set in the center and wobbly. Turn off the oven, let it set for 1 hour, remove, and then let it set the room temperature. Then cover with paper towel, and then let it set in the pan overnight to chill. Then your ganache, it goes on top, is melt in a bowl. Heat your cream first, then add your chocolate chips. Add a little bit of syrup for a glossy texture, and 1 teaspoon of syrup. Alright, the heavy whipping cream and vanilla and the whipping cream and powdered sugar and coffee, whip until forms peaks, and you can put it in a piping bag, and then you can put it over top if you want. I just usually don't do that. So alright, so I'm going to get off of here, and then we'll paste these together when I get started, okay? Alright, I'll see you soon. Okay guys, this is Sheila back, and I want to go ahead and get this crust And like I said, I'm going to use this chocolate cookie pie crust that I had left. So that will help me a little bit. And then I've got some Oreos too if I need to add Oreos. So I'm just going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to put my, what I had left for my other dessert. I'm going to put these Oreos that I had crushed in here. And then, let's see what we've got in here. I'm going to crumble all that up together. I think that might be enough. I'm going to crush a few more, guys, so I'll be right back. Alright, I've got my cookies here. I'm going to put probably, I may want it to go up on the sides a little bit. So I've got me a bag. And I'm going to start out with, it said 24, so I've got that crust in there in just a little bit. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably going to do about 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And put these back up. You can use a couple of these to decorate the top too once you get your ganache on there. So what you simply do is you get a hand towel. If you've got really nice, if you've got nice, you don't want to beat the cookies on your granite or your countertop. So you put these in a Ziploc bag, and you take the flat side of your mallet and you just beat them till they're crumbly. And then I'm going to melt 5 tablespoons of butter, and I've already got my pan sprayed and my parchment paper put in the bottom, so that's ready. Like I said, this is an act of love because it is a process to do any type of baked cheesecake. I like doing them, so I like cooking, I like baking when I feel good. My feet and legs have been hurting me a little bit, but it's alright, it'll be okay. Need a little more exercise, I think. So we've got them almost crumbly enough. You just keep beating them until you get them crumbly enough. Or you can put these, I have put them in a little chopper, like an onion chopper, but it makes them messy because of all the white stuff in there. So anyway, I'm going to add 10 crushed Oreos. And then I'm going to measure out 3. I'm pretty sure that recipe called for 5 tablespoons of butter melted. Okay. And this is just regular Blue Bonnet. It's the margarine. If you have butter, that's fine. If you don't, this is fine. Now most crust, if you use a regular plain graham cracker crust, you'll put butter, but you also put a little sugar. Since this has, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since this has the filling in the cookies, you won't have to put any sugar. So there's 5. And we're going to melt that, and I'm going to show you how we put that into our pan to get ready to make the chocolate ganache cheesecake. It's really a chocolate espresso because it has some coffee or espresso. I have some espresso powder, but I have used it before, and I choose to use just regular hot coffee, and I've got enough over there to do when I get ready to do that. But you can see it's not really crummy like real crumbs. It's just rough, but it'll be okay because I've done these before and they turn out beautiful. Let's see if this is melted. Yeah, it's melted. So that's 5 tablespoons of butter melted. In with those Oreos crushed up. It's supposed to be around 24 Oreos crushed up. So now we're going to stir this up. You see how that comes together there? And so what we're going to do now, we got your prepared pan already side sprayed. Already got my parchment paper in it. I want to leave this towel here to try to keep from being such a big mess. Hoping you can see what I'm doing here. So, wash my hands. Sometimes I use gloves because the chocolate will tend to stain your fingernails. I've run out of gloves, so I just have to wash my hands, guys. You do whatever you have to do at home. This is for my family. So I'm going to put this in here. They know my hands are clean. I do have some, like, scarring on my hands. That's why I'm going to the red light therapy bed in Dandridge. I've done a lot of research on it, and it's supposed to help. So now we've got clean hands. It is helping some. The bruising's not as deep or black. That was all black. So it's helping, and it helps with a lot of other things. So then after you get it in here, you start pressing down. You want to press it down. And up the sides if you can. It'd be really pretty. I may put some Oreos up the side. What do you think about that? I'm just not sure if it would stay. And you press it down as good as you can. This is buttery, let me tell you. And I'm going to show it to you. Because this says I'm going to bake this just a little bit in the oven. Just to dry out some of that butter. You don't have to. It's just that that's the way I do mine. Alright. Sometimes you have to wet your hands and press down. It might want to stick to it. And if there's any that's left, push it up toward the sides of the pan. Wash my hands again. Okay, so I may try that. I may put a few of the Oreos. I guess you could probably do the crumbs on the outside of it once it gets done. You could crush up some crumbs and put on the outside. So what I'm going to do now is just take this out and bake it just for 2 or 3 minutes in the oven. Alright, see you soon. Alright guys, I got my crust out. Got it ready. It stayed in about 3 minutes. So it's good and hot. I've got it in my silicone water bath protector. This is an old pan that I use just for water bath. I put the pan down in there with my cheesecake. I pour hot water in here. I'll show you later. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cheesecake started. I'm going to go ahead and undo this and put it in my mixer. I'm going to wash all this out. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I've got my bowl clean and my mixer blade clean, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put, I've got my coffee over here ready. I'm going to go ahead and put my chocolate chips in a bowl and put my hot coffee in them and set them aside. A minute ago I was telling you it was a process. It's really a process, but I love doing them because they are so worth it. So we're going to do about 3/4 cup of these chips. This is going to go into your mixture, your cheesecake mixture. And I'm going to put let's see now, where's my recipe? How much coffee? So then it is, says about 1/4 of a cup of coffee. So right here's 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so this is 1/4 of a cup. May need a little bit more since I put just a few more chips. So all you do with your chips, you've got 3/4 cup of chips. So it's supposed to be a bittersweet, semi-sweet. All I had on hand was chocolate chips, Hershey's chocolate chips. So we're going to put a heaping 1/4 of a cup in there. And then we're going to start to stir. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but anyway, we're back. I'll put you together here in just a little while. So we've got 1/4 cup of coffee and 3/4, just a higher over 3/4 cup of Hershey's chocolate chips. It's supposed to be a semi-sweet chocolate chip. This will just make it just a little bit sweeter. So 1/4 cup of hot coffee, 3/4 cup of chocolate chips, bittersweet or sweet, whichever you prefer. Now you see this is coming together. And it gives it a really good coffee flavor. If you want to, I have some espresso somewhere. I'll just have to find it. If you want it more of a coffee flavor, I'm going to add just a tiny, tiny bit more because we like that coffee flavor in it. So it's just coming together here. And it's going to be a smooth, it'll melt these chocolate chips and it'll just be a smooth texture. Now you can do a white New York, just a regular New York style cheesecake and crumble up Oreos and put into your batter and bake it, and it is delicious. And put a chocolate Oreo, just put a chocolate ganache on top, and your ganache consists of heavy cream and chocolate chips, and then just put an Oreo here and there would be beautiful, maybe with some heavy whipped cream as decoration. So that's getting good and creamy. It still has a lump or two, but I'm going to set it right there and let that be sitting there. And then if it needs to be heated up, I'll go ahead and heat it up before I put that in my mixture. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put my cream cheese in. And we'll start out with our cream cheese. 4 blocks of 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. Let's say a pinch of salt, 1 cup of sugar, and that's just your white granulated sugar. Hope y'all gonna have a Merry Christmas. Hope y'all doing good. Say hi to all the people I work with. Y'all have a problem with this. Seems like I have a problem getting these open. I do have a recipe if you all guys want to look at that fresh apple nut cake. There's a recipe on there. It's a really old recipe and it's very good, and the older it gets, the better it gets. There's a recipe on one of my videos. I think it consists of 2 or 3 sections where my phone kept going out just like it did right then. And so anyway, if you want to try that, it's a really good cake. You'll be really pleased with it. And also, I've not done an orange slice cake on here. I may do that for Easter, an orange slice cake. I did buy my dates. I'm going to go ahead and put those in the freezer. They're chopped dates, and I'll put those in the freezer so that they'll stay fresh until I get ready to make it. So, like I said, it may be New Year's, or it may be, if I don't get it New Year's, it may be around Easter. So, I can just do so much. Any person can just do so much. So anyway, I'm getting my cream cheese. Like I said, 4 blocks of cream cheese. I just have a very hard time of getting these apart. I don't know why. If you have any suggestions how to get these apart easier, other than just taking the scissors and ripping them wide open. So this is our 3rd one. So I just got one more of these to deal with. I think this might be the hardest part of it all. So, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to put it on there and let it start creaming on a slow. Put me a pinch of salt in there and a cup of sugar once it starts. And then I'll put my sour cream in. I love the sour cream flavor in it. Give me a shout out where you're watching me from if you like my videos. I hope you do. Please share and subscribe with your friends and family. If there's something you'd like to see me make, like I said, I do things from scratch. I do things semi-scratch, and I do things shortcuts. So we've got those 4 softened, room temperature cream cheese. It was Food Club cream cheese. Whoa, I didn't even know that was on. Well, excuse me, Miss Daisy. Okay. I've not used my Miss Daisy in a while. So, okay, let's get that started. I'm going to get you to where you can see. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lock that in. We're going to let that start creaming that cream cheese. So then the next thing I'm putting is a pinch of salt. I don't know what the pinch of salt's for, but we're going to do it. And you want to start out slow with that. It could have been left laid out a lot sooner, but I just didn't think about it. So then, and you can see we still got our chocolate chips and our hot coffee over here, and it's still melting. So we're going to keep that to the side. Cream cheese and a touch of salt and 1 cup of sugar. Let me get my spatula. I guess y'all heard mine and my daughter's conversation, didn't you? Was talking about my papa waddling, even though he's had 2 surgeries and a year of therapy, but he'll get there eventually. What I'm doing now is just scraping this cream cheese off the sides. Sorry, I didn't mean for y'all to hear that conversation. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Pap. So anyway, that was Pap coming here acting silly. So we're going to lay that right there. We're going to turn this back on. And we're going to speed it up just a little bit. I'm going to get my 1 cup of sugar ready. I may do that orange slice cake. I think a lot of the ladies that had Cooking Show have done that one. I don't think they've been anybody to do the chocolate ganache with the coffee in it cheesecake. So we're going to slow this down and I'm going to put my sugar in. This is 1 cup of sugar and 4 blocks of cream cheese softened, and it is a pinch of salt. So we're going to lock it back down and we're going to start letting her run again. So the next thing we'll be putting in there will be some sour cream. Let's see, I don't think I have enough in this one. Okay. love that sour cream taste to it. Calls for 1/4 of a cup. I usually put just a little bit more because I like it to have that creamy texture. So not much more, maybe a tablespoon more. So we're getting ready to put that in. And then after the sour cream, we'll put a teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. Now you can turn it up on high so you get it all good and creamy and combined. Now after you put those eggs in there, we don't want to do that. We don't want to turn it up on high. It puts too much iron in it. So let's see what we got here. Try to get that off the... Okay, and then we're going to try to take it out again and try to get some of this off of here, making sure that it's all around the sides good. This is what it's going to look like at this stage. And you want to make sure you get all off its sides and all off that bottom, because most mixers don't hit right at the very bottom. Some of them might. I'm not sure. My Miss Daisy don't. That's what I call my KitchenAid, Miss Daisy, because she's silver. And I'm old, so I thought that was okay. So we're going to lump it back in. I spilt my sour cream, didn't I? I sure did. So we won't be using that part, but we will go ahead and use this part that's still in the cup. And then I'll just get a little bit more out of my new container. So I think that'll do it. That's probably about I'm gonna get this off right here because this is a mess. I'm glad I had that laying there. Close this back up. How's that now? See, sometimes that helps to have something underneath there. So if you do have a boo-boo. So I've got my sour cream in, and then I'm going to put my vanilla, and I'm going to put a good heaping tablespoon of vanilla. All right, that was a tablespoon, a good heaping tablespoon of vanilla. So I'm going to turn it back on again. And we're going to let it beat. I'm going to go ahead and rake the sides down again. Okay. I think I'll go ahead and put my flour in. And it says 3 tablespoons, I'm pretty sure. 3 tablespoons of flour. And this is self-rising hot lady flour. That's what I use. I just use a level tablespoon. And this is just a thickener. It's just what will make your cheesecake set and thicken. So we got that done, so I'm going to put that out of the way. Okay, I'm going to check this right here. It still needs a little bit more melting. So I'm going to put that in a microwave for 30 seconds because we're getting close to where we're going to use that. Alright, so and it won't hurt anything. So we've got the flour. We've got everything, I'm pretty sure, except for the eggs and the ganache. So we're going to go ahead and let that stir and work. So that done it. You see how creamy that is now? That's really good and creamy. I'm going to let it sit here and cool just a minute. So that's what we want right there. And I will go ahead and try to, I'll try to put the ingredients for this chocolate cheesecake on the video in the description. Make sure you're getting all that flour and sugar all mixed up, because we've not put the eggs in yet. And when you put the eggs in, you have to beat it very, very slowly. You can see this one, scraping it down from the sides again, making sure all that flour, sugar, salt, and sour cream and cream cheese, making sure there's no big lumps in there. You don't want big lumps in it. So now we're just about ready to put, let me see if I put the ganache in first or if I put the, because it was last year's when I made the last one of these. Let's see, sour cream, and I put my vanilla. Then we're going to do the 4 eggs, and then we'll do the ganache afterwards. It's not the ganache, it's the chocolate. It's sort of like ganache. It's chocolate and hot coffee. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do 4 eggs would be, I want to say, let's see if it tells right here on the back of this. On some of the cartons it tells how many eggs, but I think 3 is 3/4 cup, so we're going to do a whole cup. So we're going to say that that's 4 eggs or a whole cup. I may put just a little bit more. I'm not sure yet. Do you want just a little bit, probably about 1/4 of a cup more? And we're going to let that beat slowly. Alright, so it's beating slowly. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to let this, I call it Ganache. This is not Ganache. This is hot coffee or hot espresso with chocolate chips. And I'm trying to let it cool a little bit. So while you're beating your eggs in good, you want to do that. You want to let your Ganache cool. I keep calling it Ganache. It's not Ganache. Your Ganache is made with heavy whipping cream and chips, and we'll show you how to do that a little bit later, because it will go on top of the cheesecake in the morning when I take it out. So this will go in the oven, and it's going to bake at, okay, it's going to bake at 325 for 20 minutes. Then we're going to cut it down for 300 for 30 minutes. But I always leave it in there. 20 and 30 makes 50. So I usually leave it in there about 55 minutes total. Your middle should still be wobbly, but the edges should be pulling apart from your springform pan. So we're going to start it out at 325. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And it's on 325. And we're not going to start the timer till I get it in there and it'll come up to a temperature. So just getting this stirred in again and making sure these eggs or egg beaters, if you want to use eggs, you make sure you take that little white membrane out. It doesn't seem to want to cook up good in anything I make. Maybe you can get it to. I'm going to take a spoon and get this off the side. Now my family loves this. And I promised one of my co-workers if I could, I would try to put them back a piece. So you know who you are. I just have to say the first name. I can't say the last name, Beyonce. So hopefully this will turn out good and I can get you a piece before it all gets going. But anyway, you'll have the recipe. So I hear you do a lot of cooking. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here. And we're just letting it, just make sure that it is getting all your lumps out. Make sure your eggs work in there good. Alright, it's looking creamy. I'm going to cut it down. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this, put a little bit of this at a time in here. I'm going to put it in my measuring cup. So it's easier for me to get in because you want to incorporate this chocolate with the coffee in it. And I had some espresso that I was going to mix up and put in the microwave and get real hot. It gives it a deeper espresso flavor, but you can still taste the coffee flavor in this by using just regular whatever coffee you use. We use Maxwell House, so and we made it a little bit stronger just so that I can have this right here. Okay, so this is about the last step that we do before we put it in the oven, except for putting the water in the pan. So I'm going to get this back over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to set this pan right here, guys, that has my my springform pan with my Oreo crust down in it. with my silicone protector. It's my protector, so I don't want any water or anything to get into my chocolate cheesecake. And this pan is old. I'll keep it just for my water baths. So we're just about ready. I'm going to go ahead and start incorporating this. We're just going to incorporate a little bit at a time. Get you up here where you can see what it looks like. A little bit more. So we're going to do a little bit more. And then when you get this done, you take your bowl off, and you want to take a spoon and make sure it's all incorporated good, because you don't want part white chocolate cheesecake and part chocolate cheesecake. A little bit more. I want to give a shout out to the guys and girls out there at TriStar Therapy in Newport, Tennessee. They've been taking real good care of my husband, and they watch my videos, and I hope that you will try this. If you try this, send me a picture. We'll put it on YouTube and tell who made it, because I know y'all gonna love this one. So that was all of the chocolate chips, and like I said, you're supposed to use semi-sweet, bittersweet, but I didn't have them, so we used my Hershey's chocolate chips, which will only make your cheesecake a little bit sweeter. That's all. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is take this off. Try to get all I can get off of that spindle, off of that beater there. And I'm going to undo this beater, because I'm telling you, people, this is some good stuff. So I'm going to set you back over here where you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking this off. You can see where I have white in there. I'm going to try to incorporate that with a spoon, because you don't want the white and the chocolate mixed in there unless you just want to do it on purpose. So then you have a white and a chocolate cheesecake. And I have done that. Sometimes I see a little bit of white in there, but when they get to cutting it, they don't pay no attention to it. It's all good. So as you can see, I'm trying to get it all incorporated. Trying to get the chocolate in there. Trying to make sure that I don't see any white. Turn it around this way now. See some white down in there. I want to get that scraped off the sides. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, now you see that? So what we're doing now is pouring it in on top of this Oreo crust. On my sides of my pan were sprayed just a little bit with Baker's Joy. This is a 10-inch springform pan. This makes a huge cheesecake. This cheesecake, if you went somewhere to buy it, would probably, the chocolate espresso with chocolate ganache cheesecake, a 10-inch, probably about 3-4 inches high, would probably cost you close to $100. if you went somewhere professional and got this one. You can do it. Now, of course, cheesecake and eggs and sugar and chocolate chips and all that can get a little bit expensive right now. But you know, in the Oreos, I think they're about $5 or $6 a bag now. But anyway, you can do it for a lot less and share these good times and good things and good food with your family. This is the way I show love. I show love by cooking, I guess, or sometimes you just get wore out. But I feel this is what I do at the holidays. If I can, Lord gives me strength. All right, so I'm gonna lay this right here just for a moment while I show you. You take your cheesecake. Y'all see what I'm doing? I'm going to take and bang it 2 or 3 times. And all that does is knock the bubbles out of it in the air. And so now what I'm doing is just smoothing it down. You want a pretty top on it because this is what's going to be showing. I am going to put a chocolate ganache on top of it. Trying to make sure it's even. I do see a little bit of pieces of cheesecake in there. It won't hurt a thing. Won't hurt a thing. That was probably off the sides when I scraped the sides. So, okay, guys. Now, I want you to watch what I'm going to do because I'm going to turn my water on and let it get hot. Just as hot as it can get. And I think our hot water heater does it about, they said to put boiling water in on the sides. But I just use it from my faucet because our hot water heater is set up at like 160 or 170 degrees. So as you can see, this is how you do it. I put it on the bottom rack. I'm going to take my water now after it's run for a few minutes. And it's hot. It's hot enough to burn you almost. And then I take, you can see the steam. One of my bowls has got the point on it here. It's an easier way to get in it. And you want to fill that pan up about halfway because you need enough water in there to sort of keep it from cracking. Now, starting it out on 325 and then turning it to 300 sort of helps keep it on from cracking. You can't do a cheesecake hard or fast. So I'm going to pull this out. You can see what I'm doing. I'm taking this water. My cheesecake is in the middle of this pan. So I'm going to take this water and I'll show you when I get down here and just pour in slowly to the sides. You're not seeing that, are you? Now, see if you can see. Okay, pouring this water slowly in this pan around the sides of this silicone protectant for my cheesecake. And this water is going to come up around to the rim of your silicone, which is about just a little bit under half. So I'm going to get a little bit more. And put in there. So now that pan is about halfway full. So I'm going to put it in here, guys. It's on 325. I'm going to set my timer, push it all the way back. I'm going to set my timer at 325 for I'm going to set it for 20 minutes. So it'll be 325 for 20 minutes. And then at 20 minutes, we're going to cut it down to 300. And then we're going to bake that for about 30 to 35 minutes. So let me show you. See the water in there? See the water? So let me push it back in there. And it's on 325 for 20 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to try to clean up some of this mess. This is the way I look on holidays, okay? So it's okay, because I'm home and I'm family. I got my family here, and I love doing this. I don't have my gloves, got my hair pinned up, and it's okay, because I've not got a hair yet, and that don't mean I won't, but we're going to try not to, okay? So listen, guys, whenever this comes out, I will cut the oven off, and I will leave the door cracked for 1 hour. Once I do that, I'll try to show you, because you have to leave it sitting there for 1 hour with the door cracked so it slowly cools. Once I do that, I will take it out and set it on a baker's rack for another hour till it comes to room temperature. After that, I will set it in the refrigerator in the springform pan, not in the big water pan. I won't take that water pan out when I take it out. I put that springform pan with that silicone mold in the refrigerator. I put over top of it, I'll put a piece of, I'll take a paper towel and lay right on top of the pan, and then put a plate there to keep it from, so that it can absorb the moisture. Okay, so then the next day I take that out and I take the springform off, and then that's when I put my chocolate ganache on. And if I want to put some Oreos around just for decoration, or whipped cream, I'll do that too. So I'll try to show you all that, okay, step by step. This is Sheila E. from Tennessee. May God bless you all and keep you safe. Always smile. Always give God glory, praise, and thanks. Okay, I see. Okay, guys, this is Sheila E. back, and I wanted to show you that my chocolate cheesecake is done. The time's up, so I'm letting it sit there in the oven for an hour and let it cool, and then I will take it out the water bath, and I'll put it on the bar and let it cool for about an hour. So what I was going to show you, this is my granddaughter-in-law's daddy's favorite little, I want to call it a truffle. It's called a pumpkin pie Oreo truffle. So I'm going to show you how to make those real quick. You take 7 ounces of cream cheese, so you have to cut a little bit off of the block of cream cheese. I put a recipe on there for that spiced apple cider. It's almost like a waffle. It's a drink, and it's, to me, it's better than a wassail drink, and it's really easy. And guys, you still got time. You can do that for tomorrow evening. It just takes some apple cider and some apple juice and oranges and some spices. So what I'm going to do is it says 7 ounces of cream cheese. So I'm going to cut a little of this off, and then we'll just save the rest of that to put on a Ritz cracker or something. That would be really good. Because if you put too much, you're going to end up putting more of the blonde Oreos than it calls for. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to wrap this back up here and put it back in there, and we'll use it for just snacks. That was the food club. I'm going to begin here just in a little while dipping those peanut butter, it's sort of like it's a peanut butter buckeye. I want to dip those, and dip the chocolate brownie cake truffles, and then I will be dipping these in a white chocolate. I need a new can opener. This is horrible. Okay. Let's see if I can find another can opener, guys. I can't get this open. Get either one of them open. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get some of this out. I can't get it to open, guys. You ever had that problem? I hate to have to pull my electric one out, but I did. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah, we got it. Thank you, Lord. So anyway, it takes 19 to 20. I put 20 blonde Oreos. They have to be crushed up. Then it takes a 7 ounces of cream cheese softened. And then it takes, let me put my glasses on. It takes a half a cup of pumpkin puree, which I have right here. And it's Food Club. Pumpkin puree. And then it takes 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Then you have to have your white almond bark. Actually, you want to get this melted in a pot or a melting pot. Once these are frozen, these will be put out and frozen. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I've got my cream cheese here. I'm going to go ahead and get it mixed up a little bit with my hand mixer. Okay, now I've got my I'm going to measure out 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree. Let's see. No, 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup. I'm glad I saw that, guys. 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. And that was 7 ounces of, and I could save this pumpkin. You can put this in a container and put it in your freezer. And then when you're making truffles or you're making pumpkin bread or anything, you can still use it. So that's 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. Just plain pumpkin puree, not the pumpkin pie spice. Okay, so we've got the pumpkin. And then I'm going to put my 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And this is McCormick's. All right. And I just guessed at that, guys. It was just a small teaspoon. All right. So now all I like doing is crushing my Oreos, my blonde Oreos. Let me go ahead and get this mixed up. This is really simple and easy, and I know any of you out there at TriStar Therapy can do this. Anybody down at Jefferson Family Physicians can do this. Anybody can do this. Anybody where I work can do this. So I just got my little onion chopper right here. I want you to see. And I'm just going to put a few in at a time. You put the whole cookie. And I've got 20 counted out here in this bag. And then you just go ahead and get them all grinded. I was going to do these with a Ziploc bag and a mallet, a meat mallet, but it don't get them when I done my bottom for my chocolate cheesecake. It doesn't get it as mushy as this does because these are a truffle, so it has to be very, very fine. It can't have this big chunks in it. It wouldn't be a truffle. So let's do this again. If you like my videos, tell me where you're watching from. Please subscribe and share. Sheila E. from Tennessee. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, when you go to mix it up, if you find a piece in there, just put it back in there and crunch it up. So we're about done with that. And just like a few more. And this is the blonde Oreos. These are not the double stuffed, just plain blonde Oreos. And I will try to put the recipe on that video, okay? Now, if you like pumpkin and cream cheese together, you're going to love these. Now, you saw how fast that was to put together. And I'm telling you, my little granddaughter-in-law, her daddy just loves these. So, I'm going to lay my spoons right here. I'm going to lay my white chocolate bark over here so you can see what I'm doing. And you see I've got a bite of these Craven holiday shape pretzels. If I have some white chocolate or dark chocolate left over, I'm going to do those and put some festive sprinkles on them. So I have got a mess here with the crackers. Let's see what I can do here and try to get some of this wiped up here. Alright, so you saw how fast that was. Let me go back over that. This is pumpkin pie Oreo ball truffles. So it takes 19 to 20 blonde Oreos, 7 ounces of cream cheese softened, 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Okay, so you mix all that together, and then you'll take your ice cream spoon and mix them out. So I've got my, I'm going to move the mixer. I've got my parchment paper ready over here. And you're going to take a small, I'm going to put just a tiny bit in on my fingers. And put down in my ice cream scooper. And this is a small ice cream scooper. I'm going to stir this up. Make sure there's not any big lumps in it. See, that's what you're supposed to look like. It smells so good. And when you put that in white chocolate, oh my. So good. Alright, so I'm going to start scooping out the little scoops. You don't want real big scoops because it's just more than you can eat. So it's really like a half of a scoop. And you're going to put these in parchment paper in a pan. And then we're going to put those in the freezer. And then when I start dipping everything, I'll drag these out the freezer. And we'll dip those in white chocolate almond bark. So it's really not as bad as chocolate because it's an almond bark. But it does a lot better. It does a lot better than chips. Now, if they're not shaped round, you can shape them when you get them out of the freezer. They'll be froze, and you can sort of round them up. But guys, you see how quick that was. You could actually sell these. These are so good. Now I won't put this video on till I'm ready to dip them, and so that way I can do it all at one time, and you can see the finished product. It's supposed to make about 22. This will probably make 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That's 16 right there. It'll probably make close to it, depending on the size that you make them. Pumpkin pie Oreo truffles, dipped in white chocolate. And I'm going to show you, while I've got you on here, while I'm still waiting for my oven to cool off so I can set my chocolate cheesecake out. I'm going to show you how to do a quick coconut ball, and then I will dip them also. So it's going to be an all evening dipping. It's something you can get the bigger kids involved in. I don't know if I would want those smaller children in the hot chocolate. I'm going to put that right there with that one. All right. Okay. Now you see we've got those. I'll stick those in the freezer. Then I'm going to grab me another bowl. I've got 4 of these white bowls and I love them. I think you get these at Food City. So this is a quick way to make some coconut balls, and they're really, really good too. Most of my recipes are quick and easy. Some of them are more detailed, depending on what you want to do. So I've got about a half a bag of coconut here, and I use the baker's coconut if I can find it. Food City does have it. So I'm going to put that half a bag in there, and let's see what I can do. I'm just going to open a can of Eagle brand. This is Food Club Eagle brand. It's Food Club, it's not Eagle brand, Food Club sweetened condensed milk. And I'm just going to start out with a little bit at a time, because I want them to where I can get them in balls. This Eagle brand, or I call it Eagle brand, it's Food Club, but it's still sweetened condensed milk. If you don't use it all, you can also put it in a container and put it in the refrigerator. It'll keep a couple of weeks. Now I usually use all mine. So we're going to start. Got my other pan with some parchment paper here. We're going to start out with just a little bit. That's plain baker's coconut. We're going to do about a half a can starting out with. Now I have a little bit more coconut if I need it. I think that's going to be good right there. I might put just a little bit more. And then when I dip these in chocolate, I'll sprinkle just a tiny bit of coconut on top, just so you know they're coconut balls. I'm just going to put maybe a third of a cup. This one a little bit more stiffer. And I think that's going to do it. So that was probably just a little over a half a bag. I'm going to wash my ice cream scoop. I had some, let me show you. I had some of these out. I was going to put some of the pumpkin pie Oreo truffles in, and some of these. I may try to put some of it in here. Some of the coconut, because I don't want them too big. So let's see what we can do here. Just about as big as one truffle. I'm going to put down in here, and I'm going to shape it like that snowflake. And hopefully that'll freeze and pop out of there really good. If it don't, you know what I'll do? I'll just put it in a ball. So all you got to do is just put it in your silicone. Mash it down. I don't like them real full because they're just too much. But I just put just like you would for one coconut ball. We do like coconut balls around here. So I'll show you how you just mash that down in there. Now guys, you saw how easy this was. Wait till you try this and wait till you taste this. Just so easy. Now some people I used to put a little bit of powdered sugar in mine, but when you use the Eagle brand, you really don't need it. It's plenty sweet enough. And I'm just going to do one of these, I think. I was going to do some of the pumpkin truffles, but I've already got those in the freezer, so I'm not going to take those back out. I may, if they're not good and frozen, I may try to put a little bit in one of those Christmas tree ones, the silicone molds. That's what they are. Couldn't think of that a minute ago. So we've got that ready to go in the freezer. So let me wash my hands off. And so I won't finish this video until I get them ready to dip. And also the pumpkin Oreo truffle. So I've got a half a can of that left. So what we're going to do is just take this is good size right here, let me tell you. That's about all you can eat. And I'm not sure, but it seemed like I've put this on there before, but I think it was a different recipe. I found an easier recipe, guys. That's what I look for. I'm going to have to roll these. I'm not going to stay shaped. So that's okay. We don't mind. Got my Christmas music playing. Got my turkey laid out in the bottom of the refrigerator. Got my hams laid out. I'm going to make some cornbread tomorrow after church. And so I'll have my dressing. I'll try my best, guys, to put my dressing recipe on there. Alright, so now I'm going to put this over and wash my hands, and then we're going to put these in the freezer. I'm going to put the Eagle brand and the pumpkin puree up. All right, so I'll see you soon, okay?